Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes soloing the Stalker. We're level 27. We have moved up to +1 missions, and we're on the story arc for Colin Larson about the Freak Show, the Freak Olympics, and we're going to bust Mr. Static and his crew. And I think this is the finale. Which way is the entrance here? Here we go. So yeah, we're on +1 missions. This actually could be quite a long and involved mission. It's now the afternoon on a Tuesday, so hopefully there won't be any rebooting of the server. I don't know if there actually was, um, but we were long enough into that video that we stopped it earlier this morning, and now we will be continuing and finishing up this story arc. And then I don't know what we're going to do after that, because I do want to start another story arc, but we're going to probably have to find our way to that. So we may be doing a few sort of um, just generic missions until we get the next story arc. And if that's true, this will probably be a short episode, so I'm not going to make you guys watch a lot of that. We'll stop after 30 or 40 minutes, and then the next episode will probably be closer to level 28, maybe already to level 28, and we'll be on another story arc. I want to try to do either Uvelman or General Z next, and then I want to do the Devouring Earth. One thing I was going to say is none of these are Circle of Thorns, so we may be okay. Circle of Thorns, we might have to drop back to +0. Not because I can't do it at +1, but the Circle of Thorns spirits, which are prevalent throughout the 20s and early 30s, because of the way they debuff, it may be very difficult to hit and frustrating if we try to fight them on +2. It's not that I can't do it, it's just that I don't know if I want to. I don't like miss streaks, and you tend to get a lot of those against the circle as it is, and it's going to be only worse if they're +2 to me. Yep, this guy got up. Alright, well, you're going to get placated and assassinated again. Won't one-shot him because we don't have build-up going, but it does quite a bit of damage. Yeah, these guys definitely make you fight them sometimes 2.5 times. There's another glowy. I thought I heard it. So I haven't watched videos by this guy in a while, but for some reason, Steve Glicker's Roll for Combat channel popped up in my YouTube feed today. And it was a short video that had an interesting title, so I clicked on it. And so what Glicker talks about is how he... where do you come from? What he talks about is how he commissions a lot of art. He said like about 1,000 pieces of art a year, which sounds like an awful lot to me. And so he said he commissions a lot of art, and he does not allow the use of AI art in his company. So he said he needed some new artists because he was kind of using a different art style from what he's used to using. And so he needed some new artists because the old artists, I guess, don't really work in that style. So he wants something to look more like, the 1970s D&D, like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons style art, and his artists are used to doing more like full color 3D looking art instead of these sort of flat sketch looking art. And so he checked out a bunch of artists, and he came up with 4 that looked pretty good. They gave him some samples, and the samples looked decent. And he said, okay, but you guys have to understand, we cannot use any AI art. And they promised him, all 4 of them, we do not use AI art. We don't do that. And he said, okay, that's great. And he said one of the things he does is he makes them... Come on. This guy. He makes them... He makes all of his artists send him their Adobe Photoshop files. Right? So they have to send him all the layers and stuff. And he needs that because usually when an artist works in Photoshop, if they're not working on paper, they use a process similar to working on paper where they sketch it on one layer. You would do the pencils, and then they do another layer where it's the equivalent of inking it in, and then they do another layer with base colors and another layer with detail color and stuff like that. And so they do this from layer after layer, and they usually end up with 10, 12, 15 layers that have all the different stuff in it. And he needs that for the publishing because sometimes he has to muck around with it to get it to print right on the page and that sort of thing. And so so he said they sent him the layers, the Photoshop files, and they didn't have layers, and it was clear that it was AI, because he said when you can tell it's AI because when AI does a sketch, when you ask AI to do a sketch, it can't do that. So what it does is it generates the same picture it would always generate, and then it subtracts stuff out to only leave the lines to make it look like a sketch, right? Which doesn't actually look like a sketch. It looks like it looks like I don't know if you've ever did this, but when I was a kid, it wasn't like engraving, but we had these, like, I guess it was like engraving. We had these sort of like plastic. It was sort of like, I don't know, it was plastic or whatever. Like cardboard it was really thick, and you would like use this gouge to like gouge stuff into it, and then you would apply ink to it, and you would roll it out on a paper, and it was kind of like a printing press almost kind of a deal. I don't remember what it was called. It was kind of like engraving, but not really, because it wasn't with metal, right? It was with some kind of a cardboard like thing that we used. And so that's what it looked like rather than an actual sketch. So all four of them looked almost the same. And he said that's because they all used AI, so it looked like the same artist had done all four things. And somebody in the comments said maybe it was the same artist pretending to be four different people so they could get four different jobs, which it might have been. But he said he told them no AI. They signed a contract that said no AI. He then got the art. It wasn't what he wanted. He wrote them all back and said, "Is this AI?" And they said no. And he said, "Okay, send me your layers and stuff." And well, they didn't really have the layers. And well, eventually it was, he could tell that it was in fact AI, and he fired them all. But he said, none of them, to this day, I guess, admitted that it was AI. They insist that it's not. And I just thought this is a really interesting story. We talk about AI in this game all the time, but it's a very different sort of quote-unquote AI. It's not really... Well, there isn't any real AI, right? AI doesn't exist even today. All the things they call AI are not real artificial. Artificial intelligence would be something like Commander Data, right? Who can learn and understand and converse with you and do exactly what a human being can do, right? That is not what programs like ChatGPT do. ChatGPT just mines the existing database it has, and it has an algorithm for picking the response that has the highest probability of being correct. And so that's not artificial intelligence. It's just a very sophisticated search algorithm. This game doesn't really have AI either. It's doing its best to try and make the villain NPCs act semi-realistically, but we all know that they're pretty stupid, right? Plus dues. So yeah, I just thought that was an interesting story. You guys can feel free to comment about what you think about AI if you want. I know as an educator, it's a constant thorn in my side. The a lot of the education experts who I've come to learn as an educator don't know anything about education because they're pretty much universally wrong about everything they say. Oh, they're a lot, these. I'm not talking about people who are getting degrees in education at my university. I'm talking about the people who are like part of the learning center and the academic support center and the tutoring center who are supposedly experts, and they keep giving professors advice that universally fails. Like I've literally never had any of their advice actually work. Um, Other professors who are doing stuff with students can give advice that works really well, right? Because they're actually doing things, right? But the people at the tutoring center who say, "Oh, you should do this," they don't know what they're talking about, and they're always wrong about education. I'm not talking about the tutors. Like one of my students was a tutor. She was great. I'm talking about the people who run the center and are supposedly the educators, the experts on learning, teaching, and learning on the campus. On most campuses, have absolutely no expertise whatsoever, and are almost always wrong. And they are pushing. Stop trying to fight AI as a teacher. Just learn to embrace it and use it to your advantage. And I completely disagree with them. I'm not embracing it. I'm not trying to use it to my advantage. I don't need it for my own work, and I don't want my students using it. And why can I not get in here? Here we go. I don't want my students using it. And so, and I didn't need to do that build up. I don't know why I did it. Yeah, you know, I don't mind if people want to use ChatGPT in their personal lives, but I don't want my students using it in class, right? For doing classwork. And the reason is that they're supposed to be learning stuff, right? So this has happened on our campus. A professor assigns a science paper, a research paper for you to read. It's hard to read. It's maybe hard to understand. Maybe it's a little bit over your head. In order to read it, you're going to have to do a lot of work. You might have to read some other references to understand this reference. And that takes a long time. And the students don't want to spend that time. That's how I had to do it, right? So what they do instead is they feed the PDF into pick your AI, Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever you want. They feed the PDF into it and say, give me the bullet point summary. And yeah, ChatGPT probably will give you a correct bullet point summary, but that doesn't help you engage in the process of reading a research paper and figuring out what it means, right? ChatGPT figured out what it means, and you just told me what ChatGPT said, right? That's a very different skill set. And so I'm not a fan of AI, and I don't blame Steve Glicker for banning it from his company. But like, lots of people have different opinions on it, and the opinion that the experts have on my campus is basically it's inevitable. We need to give in to the inevitable, right? And of course, the chair of my department said, well, that's like saying cheating is inevitable. We need to let students cheat. Yes, students are going to try to cheat. That's inevitable. But that doesn't mean we should just let them do it. It's bad for them. Then they don't learn the material. So, anyway. It's game related because it was about a D&D book that he was getting art for. So I figured I would mention it. Are we being ambushed? Or did we aggro somebody? I guess we did. So I'm going to just stay right here, because the closer we move, the more we're going to aggro people. And we're just take care of these guys. And let's head over here and let them chase me. So again, breaking line of sight, forcing them to come into this area so that I don't have to aggro anybody else. And again, he's got a gun, so we need to break line of sight to get him over here. And there were just so many other freaks, I didn't want to just get into a continuous battle with all of them, so I decided to do it this way. So we need to bust Mr. Static and his crew. I don't know how much of the crew has to be busted. I typically just bust everybody. And we're gonna come on. And we're going to get some endurance from these guys. Beautiful. That basically maxed me out. Love it. That is a great power. For most characters, there's one or two powers that are like, this is my awesome power. For this character, there are so many of them. The Assassin Strike, of course, Siphon Life, the Energy Drain, the Endurance Transfer, as it would be called in Champions, all fantastic powers. And then, of course, our, what's it called? Entropy Shield, which is our Mez defense. I hate when they do that. Just because he's running over to a spot where now he's going to make me aggro everybody else. So I'm just going to leave him. He's not dangerous. We'll just come over here and start. He'll come back eventually. This mission at +1 is worth a huge amount of XP. Because there are so many freak shows. Stop that guy from running. Take care of that guy. Now, where'd the other runner go? Is he back yet? Here he is. Yeah, they usually eventually come back. That takes care of him. I can only imagine how many villains there would be in here for like an 8-person team. Another runner. They are so annoying. But we're just going to let him go and we'll just keep going. One of the reasons the running happens is because we don't do the damage fast enough to completely take out everybody, right? So the guy dulls pain and then he will run away, right? And I can't do enough hit points to him right there, you see, to take him out, to make him fall. And so then that gives him the ability to do some running. Doesn't do you any good though, buddy. So yeah, this character is doing just fine on +1s. And even the +2s really have not been a problem for her. I would not want to do a +2 mission. That would just be so much missing. Especially when you're fighting +3s, I think, is a little much for this character right now. But +1, it definitely is no problem at this level. So I pulled out the Nemesis staff because I thought he was going to run. The other problem with runners in this room is that they just end up all the way down on the floor there. And so they just, because it's such a big room, they can kind of go anywhere. Double missing. They can kind of go anywhere, which means it's not like, say, if you're in an office or something where they're restricted on only being able to run down a corridor and you could just chase him. Here he can go anywhere. Alright, getting a little low on endo, so next group we fight, we're going to drain them. Come on up here, there you go. Melee range. And back to full endurance. Love that power. It almost feels a little bit too powerful. It's awesome. Again, just trying to nemesis staff him because he was running. That's going to aggro these guys. That's alright. You know, I can heal myself just like you guys can heal yourselves, buddies. As I've said, these freaks are very hard on your endurance. You know, I've never fought this guy without taking down everybody downstairs because I'm always afraid they're going to aggro to me while I'm fighting him, or he might run and drag me through here. So I've always just gone after these guys one at a time. It's kind of a shame there aren't more lieutenants in here, because the lieutenants are actually a little bit of a challenge compared to... I mean, the minions are just not hard. Again, they're a little hard on the endurance, but because I can do this, they're not. Too far. Look at the... Do you see how fast he went? It's like he has super speed. That's silly. So that's one of the other things when they flee. It seems like they all of a sudden get, like, become not only very dodgy, but they also also can, like, just zoom around the map at speeds that even a PC couldn't. I hear a glowy. I don't even know if we need to click the glowies. Hopefully he's not going to see me. I don't think so. He's pretty far. Of course I missed. Look at that. 2 misses in a row on a fleeing guy, right? That's what people used to get frustrated at. It does seem to happen a lot. Okay. Ready for the boss fight. He is +1. Try to do some extra damage. We're just going to assassinate him, ignore the other guy. The other guy shouldn't be able to do much to me. Look at that. Took 2/3 of the health out of Mr. Static. Now I did have some rage running, but pretty nice. That's got him. He might res. There he is. Hey, Mr. Static. Let's placate. And we got him. Mission complete. And we got reward merits, 57 of them in fact. And this story arc is going to actually get us very close to leveling, guys, because we still get story arc XP. And we did level up. Very nice. Okay, so we've leveled up. Let us go to the hospital area and get our level. 28th level. What are we getting now? I don't remember what I was going to get. Energize, maybe. Right? Doesn't this heal us, too? I think it does. Let's take a look. I don't know if we can get energized yet, actually. I'm not sure when the different powers unlock anymore because they've made them earlier. So it used to be that 28 would have been energy drain, and then 35 and 38 would be energized and overload, but I don't know now because they've accelerated it so that you can take some powers earlier. So let's see what we have as options. We can take energize, so let's take a look at what this does. This is a self-heal. Well, that's super nice. Midnight Grasp is another attack. We already can't put slots on our regular attacks. Let's go ahead and get energized, and this is going to have to be 6-slotted, I think. So this is a self-heal. Okay, so we're going to need the... Let's remove Brawl. We don't need Brawl anymore. That we still use because I don't have a ranged attack. All right, let's go with that. That is awesome. Oh, wow, we have a whole bunch of these to sell, too. So, did we get any SOs? We got a damage. We don't really need that. We can just sell that. I mean, I could make this a +1, but who cares? So, Energize takes what kind of enhancements? Recharge speed and heal. How much endurance does it cost to do? 10. I could see doing 1 recharge. Maybe, well, my normal tendency to this... To 2-minute, it would be triple recharge, triple heal. It'll just, yeah, you're only going to use it once a minute. If it uses a little too much endurance, just use energy drain. So I think we're going to need to 6-slot this one, guys. All our other powers in our secondary are already pretty much set. So we should be able to 6-slot it, probably not right away. We'll get a single recharge on it, which we could probably do right now. Let's go ahead and do that right now. So we'll get a single recharge on it, and that'll make it recharge every like minute and 45 seconds. Eventually, we want it recharging every minute and doing extra heal. So between that and Siphon Life, man, we're going to be really good at self-heal. So let's sell stuff. Do we have any? Oh, boy. We are getting... Wait, look at this. We've got some level 30 inventions. And we've got some oranges here, too. Oh, level 30 damage. Multi-strike at level 28. I'm not going to take it at 28. It's going to have to be 30 or higher. 2 hit buffs. I don't think we're going to need those. So we're going to ditch those. We don't need hold. But these we can use. Okay, so time to do some inventions. First, let's hit the auction house. I know I said I wasn't going to sell orange recipes, orange salvage, but recipes, yeah, we can sell those. And then this goes in healing, 5-slot set. We might want a healing set for, we probably do for the other one, but it's level 27, so yeah, all right. So we don't need that. We can sell it. We're probably going to want a healing set on our new power on what is it, Energize, but that'll be later, right? That's in the 30s, so we have like Doctored Wounds and stuff, some of that already at the base. So let's go to the base actually, and let's invent these enhancements, and then we can just store them in the enhancement. Are you shooting at me? Why is there spawn by the supergroup base? I'll go back out there and take care of those, but let's if they're still there, but let's come over here and do some inventing. So we want to look at we don't want to look at unowned recipes. We don't want to look at unowned recipes, only recipes we own. So we need alchemical silver, scientific theory, and masterwork weapon. I don't remember if those are yellow or white, so we'll just have to look. Scientific theory. Is there anything in here? We need alchemical silver, right? Don't see that in either one of these. Let's come up here. Okay, no. There's alchemical silver. And masterwork weapon. Okay. So we should be able to make these now. There we go. So we'll create that one. And we'll create that one. And then endurance mod, these are really hard to get. Demonic blood sample. I don't know if that's white or yellow. I can never remember. Nope, it's white. So this is why I save so many whites and yellows, because a lot of the generic IOs require those. So we now have endurance mods for level 30. So let's take a look at these, right? These modifiers are 34.8%. Remember I said a white con, like a white even level enhancer, is 33%. Now the green ones are more than that, right? They're 38% at best. So 30 is not as good as having greens, right? It's like, this is like having one that's one level above you. So when we're 29th level, these will still be green and they'll be around 34%. That's about what these are like. Those are good enough that I'll take them, right? So we're going to come in here and we're just going to drop these off. And now we have them for when we want them, right? You'll notice if we grab the 45, right, this is plus 40%, right? So obviously what you'd want to do if you're staying with the generic enhancers is at level 50, you're going to want level 50s, right? And they'll be like 42 plus 42% or something like that. All right, now we're going back to Independence Port. And if those jerks are still there, I'm going to take them out because they should not be, they really should not be shooting people at the portal. Are they still here? They despawned. They really should not be here. They were right here, right? Now I don't know if they were here or if they followed somebody. They might have been these guys and they might have followed somebody. It's possible. Let's take a look in our salvage now. We have 329 reward merts. Oh, we have more of these ethers that we don't need. Let's go ahead and make some more money. Let's put them all up. Go ahead. And we'll put them up for, I don't know, 500,000. And sell them. We now have another 3 million influence. Pretty cool, guys. Pretty good. Okay. So we're at 33 minutes. This is a fairly short episode, but I think I'm going to stop it here because we've now gotten to level 28. Wait, what didn't we do? I know what we didn't do. We didn't put a recharge enhancer on that. Let's do that because I did say we were going to do that. So let's go ahead and do that. So we finished the story arc and doing a little bit of housekeeping, and we crafted our first couple of real inventions. We'll keep doing that as I get the level 30s and 35s and stuff. We'll get more and more 30s as we go. So we want recharge. That. And that will make our heal occur every minute and 27 seconds now. So we're definitely going to want that to get buffed as well. So level 29. My guess is I'm still not going to be putting damage, right? My guess is level 29 we're going to put 2 recharges on this and make sure we get the maximum recharge on it. And then level 30, I don't know what we're going to get. And then level 31, we'll start putting damage on Smite or Shadow Maul. We got to start getting damage into those powers, but the thing is, all the other powers also have stuff that we need too. So anyway, I am going to start working on the next contact. This would be not sure who. I'm going to have to take a look. Oh, Lannister does Ubbelman. So maybe we'll do him, and we'll get the Ubbelman arc started. So I'm going to start making him happy and getting him liking me. And when he's ready to give us an arc, I will bring you guys back, probably tomorrow or the next day. Until then, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes soloing the Stalker.